I want a divorce after 9 months of marriage. Am I being immature? That was the question I typed into my phone at 3 a.m., sitting in my car in the driveway of our dream home, the house we'd saved for, planned for, decorated together down to the last throw pillow, the house that now felt like a beautifully staged prison with granite countertops and a mortgage I could barely pronounce. People will tell you the warning signs are obvious in hindsight. They're wrong. Sometimes the warning signs are so small, so incremental, that you don't notice the walls closing in until you can barely breathe. The changes happen like weather, a degree at a time, until suddenly you're standing in a storm wondering when the sky turned dark. It started with opinions, small ones. The way I laughed was too loud. My friendships were too consuming. My career ambitions were selfish. Lennox had a way of packaging criticism as concern, wrapping control in the language of love. He made isolation feel like intimacy. Every boundary he crossed came disguised as devotion. I just want what's best for us, he'd say. And I believed him, for longer than I should have. The wedding was everything my mother had dreamed of. 300 guests, imported flowers, a dress that cost more than my first car. Standing at the altar, I remember feeling like I was watching someone else's life unfold. The champagne toasts, the first dance, the tearful speeches about forever. It all felt like a performance I hadn't rehearsed for. My hands shook when I said the vows. My sister pulled me aside at the reception. "You don't look happy," she whispered, her eyes searching mine for the truth I couldn't speak. I told her it was just nerves. Brides are supposed to be nervous, but she knew. Even then she knew. The honeymoon was when the mask began to slip. Small comments about what I ordered at restaurants, monitoring my social media, asking me to check in whenever I left our hotel room. I told myself this was what commitment looked like. I told myself I was lucky someone cared so much about my whereabouts, my safety, my every move. By month 3, I'd stopped calling my best friend Paloma. By month 5, I'd turned down a promotion because Lennox said we needed to focus on starting a family. By month 7, I didn't recognize my own reflection. The woman staring back had hollow eyes and practiced smiles that never reached them. The incident that broke me wasn't dramatic. There was no screaming, no violence, nothing that would make headlines. It was a Tuesday evening, and I'd made dinner, his favorite, chicken parmesan with homemade sauce that took 3 hours to simmer. He came home, glanced at the table without sitting, and said, "I told my mother we'd eat at her place tonight." When I reminded him that he'd never mentioned any plans, he looked at me with such cold certainty and said, "I did. You just don't listen. You never listen." I spent that night questioning my own memory, my own sanity, and somewhere in that spiral of self-doubt something clicked. This wasn't love. This was erasure. Piece by piece, I was disappearing into someone else's design. My dad called the next morning just to check in. I couldn't speak. The silence stretched so long he finally said, "Whatever it is, you can come home." Those 6 words undid me completely. I've spent the last 2 weeks gathering evidence, bank statements, screenshots, a journal of every time he's made me feel small, crazy, invisible. My therapist says I'm doing the right thing. My lawyer says I have a solid case. But yesterday, everything changed. I was packing a bag, preparing to leave while Lennox was at work, when I found something in his desk drawer. A folder, hidden beneath old tax documents and expired warranties. Inside were photographs, dozens of them, of me, taken without my knowledge, at the grocery store, at my office, walking into my mom's house. Pictures from angles that meant someone had been watching, following, documenting my every routine. And at the very bottom, a single piece of paper with a name and address I'd never seen before. A man named Corbin Watts, an address 20 minutes from my childhood home. Beneath it, in Lennox's careful handwriting, "If she tries to leave." My hands haven't stopped shaking since. I couldn't fit what happens next in this short video. Watch the rest down below.